Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your WWE Survivor Series 2019 preview and predictions. We have got 8 matches. Not a single one is pre-show worthy because they all are just stacked. We have 8 really good matches, and it's one of those things where normally with a WWE show, there are like 2 to 5 maybe at most matches that we're looking forward to, and a bunch of shit and a bunch of filler that makes no sense. And they're probably going to still add to this card because they're probably going to have something on the pre-show, and I don't think that anything on the current card is going to be on the pre-show. But the card that we have looks right now is just amazing. Like, the first match that we're going to be talking about is a 3-way between champions. Immediately, like the first 3 matches we're talking about actually are all 3 ways between champions, and I really tried my best to make sure that the order of these matches went from least important to most important in terms of stakes. So this card is just loaded, and I'm very excited to get into this. But before I can start talking about this, we haven't even heard from my cohort in commentary. John, how do you feel about this show?
You know what, dude? I'm gonna be that guy. I'm really anticipating it. I'm really psyched. But, because, I like to put a numerical scale on it, I am going to invoke a kind of similar reasoning that you did with Takeover. Because you said you were at a 9.5 with Takeover. You wanted the women's War Games team, though, to be a bit more stacked. Because you didn't like 1 or 2, like 2 members on opposite sides of the team. Yeah. Kaylee Ray for the heels, Candice for the babyfaces. I'm at a 9.5 because I'm sorry, I'm petty. I don't like New Day in the Triple Threat Tag match. I really wanted it to be Revival. If it was Revival, I'd be 10 out of 10. New Day, I don't hate them as a team. I just like them less than the Revival. And for me personally, I'm kind of in a period where I'm over the New Day right now. So I am at a 9.5. Just if it would have just been the Revival, man, I'd be all set for this. And that's my only complaint about this show. Other than that, this card is fucking stacked.
It's funny because I'm at a 9 for different reasons. I'm at a 9. Actually, no, fuck, I am at a 9. I'm going to join you. I am at a 9.5 because once I thought about it, I was like, you know what? This is the first Survivor Series, I feel like, in years where we have actual stakes, where we have actual meaningful matches with something on the line. And even if it's not anything that pertains to the Survivor Series name and the Survivor Series stipulation that you would expect, the fact that we have 3 World Championship matches on this show, meaning each championship, the World Championship from each brand, is being represented and defended on this show, that alone makes this the best Survivor Series card that I have seen in years. Because the last couple years, it's literally just been brand versus brand, and that's it. There's been no titles on the line because all the champions have been facing each other. And we do still have 3 matches on this show where it's all champions facing each other, but we also have 3 world titles all being defended on this show, and that has me psyched.
Yeah, brother, I am so glad you emphasized that because I enjoy the concept to the point of like brand supremacy, and we're still getting that on this show, but it's so nice that our main world champions are also stepping up and defending gold, including Brock Lesnar, I might add. It is shocking to me that we're seeing Brock Lesnar on the Survivor Series, personally. So, yeah, I think because of that, you get just enough of like the main champions being put in that spot. Even Adam Cole's defending his title.
Yes.
So really, yeah, they all feel like world champions, which they are, but you get what I mean. They all feel on equal footing in that way. You didn't just throw Adam Cole in some tag match, which I really like. You've got brand supremacy matches, and you've even got, in terms of the champions, the triple threats and all that stuff. And then you've got elimination matches. Really, from a content and structural standpoint, you really couldn't ask for a better Survivor Series because you get a little bit of everything. Like, this is amazing. I honestly want Survivor Series to be like this every year going forward. World champions still defend. You have your other like mid-card champions do, brand supremacy type matches, and you do your elimination matches. Like,
and you know what? It doesn't even have to necessarily be world champions either, because I would love it if one year we had 3 women's championship matches and the world champions had a 3-way instead.
Yeah. Just regardless of who fills what role, I feel like this is the template going forward.
I hope
Survivor Series card.
For as long as this format of brand structure exists, where we've got SmackDown, Raw, and NXT all existing as their own actually divided brands, I agree. This is the way I want Survivor Series to be structured, where we have one sort of tier of championship where the representative that has that title for each brand defends it on the show, and then we also get the three other three-way championship or champion versus champion matches. That's perfect. I think that's the perfect balance where you're not over bloating the card with too many title matches, which is like what a Night of Champions kind of feels like, because it's just like they just have to fit everything on there. But at the same time, there are still stakes, because like the last 2 years specifically, I've been really salty about Survivor Series because there have been just no stakes whatsoever. I've been given zero reason to be invested in Survivor Series for the last 2 years, and even this year, the two big 5-on-5 Survivor Series matches themselves have no stakes, and that's a little disappointing to me. That right there is probably the biggest thing keeping me from giving this a 10, because I could be okay with Kofi and Big E being in the three-way match just because I love those guys, and even if they're not the tag team specialists and the tag team fucking PhD level masters that the Revival are, they're still really good, and I still love O'Reilly and Fish, and I still love Viking Raiders. But the fact that the 5-on-5 matches do not have stakes is the biggest thing keeping me from giving this a 10.
Yeah, because I know, that has been, as you just said,
I
like
loved
like
that Ember Moon. Ember Moon had an amazing suggestion on Backstage on Tuesday. She said that she thinks it would be cool if the 5 members of the winning team had a match with each other where the winner gets the number 30 spot in their Rumble. I fucking love that.
Yeah, for sure.
That would be perfect. If they announced that was a stipulation between now and this show beginning, it's a 10 out of 10 hype level for me.
Yeah, because and see, like, even just like taking your personal investment aside, I don't understand like why as a company, when promoting, to me, is like 90% of the game, if not more. Like, why you don't go that far ahead, because you figure it's November, Rumble isn't until January, to get that ahead and be like, oh, remember, this person's number 30, and you kind of build them up a bit, through not only this elimination match, but then like a fatal 5-way match, because it's always like 5-on-5. Yep. That would be a really cool way to build somebody up. And then if they win, great, because it's the rocket continues to go to the moon. And if they don't, well, the person that eliminated them looks fucking great. I really don't see how you lose. So, yeah, I totally get where you're coming from, man, for sure.
Or better yet, if you don't want to say that they're number 30 because you want to keep the number 30 slot open and you don't want it to have to be a heel, they get to pick their number. Because then maybe it could be like a Roman Reigns, and he's just like, if I can't do it from 1, I don't deserve it. And he can pick number 1 and he can go into it as 1. Like, that's the thing that they would do. So that would make it even better. If rather than the winner of the 5-way immediately gets the number 30 spot, you could say the winner of the 5-way gets to choose their Royal Rumble entrant number. Because then if you decide to give it to a heel, they can have 30. If you decide to give it to a face, they can have 1. You could even do where like you give it to someone and they decide to pick like number 3 or number 17 or whatever number it is these days that is the most frequently won from in Rumble history. Like use those JBL stats that he used to run through every year. I just think that there's so much you could do with these matches that they're just doing nothing with. And that is why right there, I was thinking about making it a 9, but realizing that there were title matches on this show, at least I gave it a 9.5.
All right. Well, with all of the exposition on hype out of the way from both of us, let's dive into this card. What do you want to talk about first?
Our first matchup is our 3-way tag match, the Viking Raiders versus the New Day versus Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. And I think it's fitting that you mentioned this being the match that you are the most sour about because of New Day being there instead of the Revival. That's the big thing, because I know you don't hate the New Day. It's just the Revival are so fucking good at this tag.
Dude, I really want to make that perfectly clear. Yeah. I have nothing against the New Day as an act.
Yeah.
But, dude, you got to see it from my vantage point. When they showed the match graphic and Revival was initially in there, I think I had to wipe the drool off my fucking mouth because it was like water. I'm like, give it to me.
Yeah.
Because, man, they're so good. And we got the little preview from NXT on Wednesday of, like, what could have been when they were mixing it up with Fish and O'Reilly. And I'm just like, why? Every time. But knowing that it's New Day, see, man, you know what? No, I am going to go first. I've already started talking, and I don't know if you have in your mind. I don't know if you have in your mind who you think's going to win, because I'm going to be truthful with you. Where I was slacking tonight, I've put most of my thought in the WWE Championship match, which I hope a lot of people appreciate my effort there. But here, part of me wants to just go, Viking Raiders. Just that simply. And I probably would have said it if they were still undefeated. I know Greatest Royal Rumble, well, not Greatest Royal Rumble, but Crown Jewel and just the Saudi shows in general are like glorified house shows. But they still suffered a loss there to fucking Gallows and Anderson, and I haven't been able to get the taste out of my mouth. So I don't know if they're going to keep them dominant on TV or not. But you know what? I know what happens when I overthink. I make horrible decisions. So I'm going to ground myself, and I'm just going to say Viking Raiders are going to win this. Probably pinning. I could honestly see Kofi eating the pin in this. So, yeah. I'm going to go Viking Raiders. We'll say Ivar pins Kofi. So that's what I'm going to go with. What about you?
I'm going to say Ivar pins Bobby Fish. Bobby Fish has taken all the pins this weekend, brother.
Yeah, well, there you go, man. There you go.
Because remember, I had Keith Lee pinning Bobby Fish on TakeOver.
Fish out of water, am I right? But yeah, we'll see how it all goes.
Bobby Fish is eating all those pins from all those big meaty sons of bitches.
Oh my. All right. Next matchup.
Shinsuke Nakamura versus Roderick Strong versus AJ Styles.
Who you got, brother, since I went first on the last one?
Dude, there was a moment tonight that I was like, oh my God, is Nakamura going to win this match? But then I was like, wait. AJ got one-upped because he was by himself. I guarantee you the club are going to be with him here, and that's why I'm picking AJ Styles to win.
Yeah, dude. Here's why I'm picking AJ Styles to win, just to show. I mean, even though we agree, I probably shouldn't have to go into my reasons. I'm just going to give you my logic anyway. I think he's going to win this because, and I know we're live reacting to Raw and SmackDown like the following, week. I think he's dropping the title to Humberto Carrillo on Monday. So I think him winning this match beforehand and then Humberto winning is going to make Humberto look like the biggest fucking deal. So I think, short term it makes Raw look great and AJ look great because he beat two fucking workhorses and just great competitors in Shinsuke and Roderick. But long term, it's going to make Humberto look great because he beat a guy that did that the night before at Survivor Series. So, yeah, I think AJ's going to win and he's going to drop the title to Humberto is my prediction.
Yeah. It's kind of funny, too, thinking back. We last year, we were just like, oh, man, Raw swept SmackDown. That means they're going to have SmackDown sweep Raw next year. And already we've picked two Raw teams to go over.
Yeah, dude, honestly, I'm so glad you brought that up because I even wanted to remember to ask you because I know how confident you were, like, SmackDown's going to Fox, SmackDown's going to get their wins back because Raw decimated them last year, I think they're just going to sweep them this year. Apparently that thinking has shifted. Do you think, just to ask you point blank, do you think NXT being added to the mix caused you to, like, shift your thinking since it wasn't just a Raw versus SmackDown dichotomy?
Yeah.
We're actually doing something.
Yeah, I really do because... And really, the thing to me is really just like, why bury SmackDown last year if you weren't going to give them their wins back this year? And I wonder if they planned on it, but then they were just like, you know what? We have this whole AEW situation, and we really want to highlight NXT on the main roster. And what better way to do that than to bring them into the main roster and have Survivor Series feature them and really get them over as bigger names than just the NXT platform can give them? So I think that they're just kind of it's almost like they just kind of called an audible. And, like, we wanted to give SmackDown their wins back, and maybe we'll do that next year. But also, like, we have a wrestling war to win now.
Yeah, exactly. Priorities have changed.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, man, I'm gonna also, we're both picking AJ, so let's move on to the only other champion versus champion three-way match. And I feel weird talking about this early because it just feels like they've built up to it as such a big deal on the TV shows. But Becky Lynch versus Bayley versus Shayna is probably, the next least important match on the show. And I am going to stick with my SmackDown wins kind of prediction theory with this one because I am picking Bayley to win this.
Okay, I just want to say very quickly, one, I agree with you, but I really wish they'd give Shayna the win here. And I'll tell you why. Because to me, if the end game, which I still think is on the table personally, is a 4 horsewomen versus 4 MMA horsewomen type matchup, you need to give the MMA horsewomen something. Because right now they've given Ronda stuff, no doubt. But, like, Shayna's so fucking good. Like, just imagine, dude, Shayna walking into their house and getting the win. Like, how huge that would be. And then, if for whatever reason something with Ronda falls through, because, never say never in this business for good or for ill, right? You already have Shayna, like, ready-made to come up and be like, I beat you guys once, now I'm ready to do it for the fucking title this time. Like, I'd love for them to give her the win because I feel like NXT needs to win something on this night. I will say that much. I do think they need to win something. I don't know what that's going to be.
I'll tell you what, man, if they really wanted to strap the rocket to Shayna, she would drop the NXT Women's title on the Takeover before Royal Rumble and then debut again at the Royal Rumble and win the fucking thing.
Yes, dude, yes.
The problem is, I'm pretty sure they're going to use Ronda in that exact same spot, winning the Royal Rumble with a big return.
I know Shayna is kind of a divisive figure in the wrestling community because a lot of people love her, and I think other people don't necessarily hate her, but they're kind of getting tired of her NXT Women's Championship reign. A point that I can sympathize with to a degree. But I just think she's so legit, and her packaging is so good, and she knows how to tweet, which is Ronda's biggest deficiency, which you could treat as a throwaway joke. But
Ronda's biggest deficiency is communication in general. She's just bad at it.
Yeah, yeah. And, I mean, really, my general point is, in this climate, like, that fucking matters. Like, I don't even mean to say it as a throwaway joke.
No,
like,
dude, it really does. It really, like,
yeah.
Twitter can sour a fan base on a performer so quickly. Just look at Seth. Like, seriously. Look no further than Seth Rollins.
Oh, we're all looking at you, Sethington. But I know they're not going to, but I know our preview and predictions, why I love these is we don't just talk about what we think is going to happen. Like, we really let the fan and the passion jump out. We talk about the possibility we see with this card. I would love for them to give Shayna the win. Oh my God, I'd be so for it. But I do think Bayley's going to be like the scavenger and the opportunist, and she's going to pick up the win. I even think she'll pin Becky to do it.
Oh, honestly. See, no, I was going to say I think she'll pin. Well, yeah, you know what? I don't know though, because I don't know if we're even going to get a pinfall in the. Yeah, because Bayley does have the headlock driver. Because I'm just thinking, like, Shayna and Becky don't really do moves that set people up to get pinned. Because Shayna's whole thing is the Kirifuda. Becky's whole finishing thing is the seated armbar, the disarm her. So really, if anyone is getting pinned in this match, it's going to have to be by Bayley. And then otherwise, there's going to have to be some kind of submission. And I can't imagine Shayna tapping out to anyone. So she's definitely not losing to Becky. I could potentially see a situation where, like, Becky has Shayna in the disarmor, Bayley comes in, does the Bayley to belly to Becky, and then the headlock driver to Shayna and pins her.
Right.
I could see Bayley pinning Shayna. Like, that's what I was really trying to work around to, is I could see Bayley pinning Shayna, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Especially because it really does feel like Shayna has gotten the upper hand against Bayley the entire build up to this.
Yeah. We'll see, man, but I do agree with you that Bayley's winning. I just really wish that I could say confidently that Shayna's going to win.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, though, like, as confident as we are, we could be wrong, and if we are wrong, I'm going to be excited if Shayna does win.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so now let's get into these 5-on-5-on-5 matches, and the thing that's really interesting here is that we don't know all 5 members of the NXT men's team. We actually don't know any of the members of the NXT men's team. We probably won't find that out until the day of. So that'll be something that we can speculate on when we get to it. But for now, let's talk about the 5-on-5-on-5 women's match. So we have got Team Raw, represented by Charlotte, Natalya, Asuka, Kairi, and Sarah Logan, versus Team SmackDown, represented by Sasha Banks, Carmella, Dana Brooke, Lacey Evans, and Nikki Cross, versus Team NXT, represented by Rhea Ripley, Candice LeRae, Tegan Nox, Mia Yim, and Toni Storm.
Well, now we know where Toni is and what rub she's getting. I think that's huge for her.
Dude.
Good for Toni.
Again, I say, though, you're really going to put Candice LeRae on this team rather than Io Shirai or even Bianca Belair.
Yeah.
That's a bad fucking look. I'm sorry, but...
Honestly, too, can I just say, too... Given that they've spotlighted Bianca in the whole invasion angle, with, like, her deadlifting certain women, how do you not have her on the NXT team?
Yeah.
Like, you spotlighted her and everything. That's
like, I can understand everyone else. Like, Toni is like the NXT UK rep. I get that. Tegan and Mia are both bigger deals, especially Tegan. I think, really, if I wanted to list a perfect team, it would be Rhea, Tegan, Toni, Io, and Bianca. That would be the perfect representation of NXT to me.
Yeah. Yeah, how you could, and especially too, just to talk about Io, because I already aired my gripe with Bianca. How do you not, after the magic you had on NXT with the stare down between Kyrie and Io, not want to replicate that in match form?
Yeah,
I don't. Oh my god, WWE! WWE needs a babysitter. I don't know where we get one, but they fucking need one. Oh my god. All right, well, that aside, NXT team doesn't look bad by any means, but again, missed opportunities. You know what, man? Just looking at these teams on paper, god damn it. To me, I hate to count NXT out because, again, I want to give NXT something, and maybe I'll give it to them in the men's match, depending on what team they put together, especially if Triple H does end up being on Team NXT. But I hate to say it, but I think I'm going to go Team Raw. I don't hate to say it because Kyrie's on the team, but Charlotte, though.
Well, I mean, Charlotte is a point of a reason to complain, but she's also a point of, of course they're going to fucking win.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to go Team Raw just straightforwardly because LOL Charlotte wins. Yeah. But at least Kyrie will be along for the ride.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Team Charlotte's going to win, and that's going to be yet another reason for Charlotte to get an opportunity at Becky's title again.
Oh, make it stop.
It's never going to stop, dude. The only thing that could come out of that positive is that maybe then Asuka would also get a shot at Becky's title, and that I need to see again, especially because we are coming up on the 1-year anniversary of Asuka fucking beating Becky for the SmackDown Women's title at Becky's peak, making her tap out at that.
Hell yeah, dude, that match was so fucking good.
It was.
I like you, I need it again. That was great.
It was amazing.
All right, well, what are we talking about next here?
The other 5-on-5-on-5 match, the men's match. So we've got representing Raw, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, who is the captain, who I think is a mistake. Kevin Owens, Randy Ricochet. I thought Andrade was on this team. I guess I guess not. I guess Andrade was trying to make his way onto the team in that match with Seth. But yeah, it's Seth, Drew, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, and Ricochet versus Team SmackDown represented by Roman Reigns, Mustafa Ali, Braun Strowman, King Corbin, and Shorty G versus Team NXT, which we don't know who it is. So that's a very interesting little dynamic there. First, before we even talk about who we think's going to win the match, let's talk about who we think's going to be on Team NXT.
Well, this is just going to be the one time I turn up in this commentary, and I was going to be like, bro, Andrade should totally fucking turn face and just join Team NXT. Be like, I was a world champion here, fuck you guys.
it would give me slightly Invasion vibes, where the WCW team needed WWF stars in order to beat the WWF, but I think Andrade could be an exception.
So Ciampa's got to be on Team NXT, right?
So here's the team that I had in my mind: Ciampa, Riddle, Lee, Dijakovic, and then either Priest or Dunn, depending on who loses on Saturday.
Okay, and I think I'll agree with all of that, but
maybe Walter in that last slot.
I'll take your Dijakovic, oddly enough, and this is contingent on a lot of things, just like we said with War Games, and I would replace it with Velveteen Dream if he's cleared.
That's a big if, though, and that's also he's probably going to be in War Games the night before if he does get cleared for that.
But then again, so would Ciampa, though. And right. I think we both agree that Ciampa's going to be in the Survivor Series team.
True.
So I'll tell you what, if Dream doesn't get cleared, though, I will agree with you on Walter, because he did have a match with Seth and stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel like anyone that's had matches on Raw should be given an opportunity there. But I will say, though, if Dream does get cleared, I agree that he would make a lot of sense, because, that's just the type of dude that you want people to just get their eyes on, because he'll draw people in. Anytime you can give Velveteen Dream an opportunity to get in front of a new crowd and create new fans, you need to do it. So I totally agree with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So the question then, since we both kind of agree on a team, who wins this year?
What team did we agree on? Ciampa, Riddle, Lee, then what?
Do we agree on Walter? Because we both seem to agree on Walter.
I mean, we agree that Walter should be there, but I don't think he actually will. I don't expect it to be Walter.
I can agree with you, and I can meet you halfway that Dijakovic will be on the team if Dream doesn't get cleared. I could see. Well,
even the thing is, though, let's just do this. What do you think the odds are of Walter actually being on this show?
I meant like a
say
60%.
30%.
Hmm.
Did you say 60?
I did,
Well,
because he is the NXT UK champion, and he's the only champion not really doing anything.
Yeah.
So, like, I could see them giving him this spot.
It's weird. I feel like Tyler Bate is more likely to be on Team NXT than Walter.
Oh my god! Any chance for Tyler to show what he can do is a fucking gift.
I feel like I want to just like poll the chat and be like, who do you guys think is going to be there? But you know, we've got to make a decision for ourselves. So you know what? Okay, we'll go with Walter, and assuming he gets cleared, we'll go with Dream, with the contingency of if Dream doesn't get cleared, Dijakovic.
Yes, and the hilarious thing is I know that we were very meticulous in putting this team together, but I don't even think it's going to matter because I have Team SmackDown winning because Roman Reigns. I've been hearing that they're getting ready to push him big time, maybe even to a match with the Fiend at Mania potentially.
So who survives?
Readily believe.
I mean, if you think Roman's going to be the big like MVP, who else is going to survive other than him? Anybody? Because we've got Ali, Strowman, Corbin, and Shorty G. You think it's just going to be a sweep? You think they all survive? Maybe everyone but Corbin?
No, not with how stacked Team Raw is and with how stacked we're assuming Team NXT is going to be. They have to take a hit.
I don't know. I mean, I could really, honestly, dude, I could see Roman, Ali, Strowman, and Shorty G all surviving. I legitimately could believe that because with Raw, like, we want Drew McIntyre to be a way bigger deal than he is. They do not treat him like a big deal at all. Kevin Owens is like mid-card, upper mid-card. Orton has been on the downturn. Ricochet is another like upper mid-card guy. Seth, I mean, if anyone's in a downward spiral right now, it's Seth fucking Rollins, right? So I could totally see Raw getting swept. And NXT too, like it's NXT, man. I love NXT, and really, I feel like Keith Lee is probably going to have the MVP performance in this if he doesn't already have the MVP performance in War Games, which I kind of expect him to. But yeah, man, I'm telling you, I think I agree with you. First of all, that SmackDown's going to win, and I would even go as far as to say I think they might win with only losing one guy, that being King Corbin, and they might lose him on purpose. They might cost themselves him.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to say it like this. I could see... Because Braun, I always feel like in these matches you expect him to be a sole survivor, but there's always like one team that gangs up on him and gets the count-out victory seemingly like every year or something. Or they just eliminate him in some crazy way. So I'm going to say Roman, Mustafa, and Shorty G, because Mustafa and Shorty G seem to have been a big part of like Roman's story. But I think King Corbin's actually going to get eliminated first because he's been talking a lot of shit about how Roman's not a locker room leader anymore. And Corbin's that leader, but I think he's going to be the one that gets embarrassed and just eliminated first.
I agree.
So,
I agree.
Yeah, I'm going to say Roman, Mustafa, and Shorty G see the match through to the end.
So you think Strowman's going to get eliminated?
I do. I think they'll find a way.
You think it'll be like one of those, like, everyone hits their finishers at the same time and then everyone pins them at the same time kind of deals?
Dude, I could even see it truthfully where, like, Braun and Keith Lee, for instance, cancel each other out. And it's like a double elimination. I just don't see the Hosses in that match lasting too long.
I don't know. Because I could see, like, an example would be, like, Braun gets, like, I'm trying to think of what could happen. Big knee from Riddle, Claymore kick by Drew, doesn't take him off his feet, RKO by Orton, 630 by Ricochet, 1, 2, 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a big combination of like 4+ guys hitting either finishers or at least big moves on him. So yeah, I can agree with that. I like that idea too, because you've got Roman and then the two guys that everyone was questioning why are they on the team, all surviving to the end. I love that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right, man. NXT got literally nothing.
I hate it, dude.
So bad,
but I can't lie.
We're just trying to predict realistically based on what we know WWE wants and what they do.
Yeah.
Like if it was up to us, I think NXT would win everything except for maybe the tag match because I still would want to protect Viking Raiders.
Yeah, definitely. I'm actually in complete agreement with you on that.
All right. Next up, let's talk about the NXT Championship match. Adam Cole taking on the winner of the War Games Triple Threat match for the NXT title.
I'm just Cole. Cole retains.
Yep.
I think the big money.
He's got to hold that baby until January at least.
Exactly. And plus, do you really want to take the title off a man that good looking? I don't think you do.
I mean,
I don't think anybody
it's
does.
funny you said that, because when you said, do you really want to take the title off a man? I thought you were going to continue saying, do you really want to take the title off a man at a pay-per-view that doesn't even happen to be the brand that he's representing? Like, we're talking about a WWE pay-per-view, not an NXT show. Like, I don't like that idea. Like, we already had, the title change at Evolution. We don't necessarily, the NXT title change at Evolution. We don't necessarily need another NXT title change on a WWE main roster pay-per-view.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let you know, brother. Through that, you had like really bad robot voice. You're really cutting out. I think you've stabilized now, but I apologize that I didn't quite like catch everything you said because you just had really
Basically,
bad,
the
like,
gist
cut out
of it
robot
was,
voice.
I don't want any NXT people continuing forward to drop titles on non-NXT shows.
Yeah, I hear you on that. So yeah, Cole retained. Should be a great matchup though, and I'm really happy for Pete Dunne that he gets like this kind of venue to show out at. So what are we talking about next?
Next up, let's talk about Brock and Ray.
Oh boy, my time to shine. Maybe, possibly. I don't know.
Go!
So you want me to go first, or did you want to go first? Because I'm not going to shut the fuck up once I get started.
Well,
with
okay,
everything
so
I've
I
thought
know
through
that you
here.
have a lot more to say than me, so I'm going to keep it really simple because my prediction is a lot less out of left field than yours. Brock retains, and we move on to Rumble.
All right. Okay, guys, this is the one prediction of the video, which I'm sure you all anticipate, where John's gonna John it up. I'm predicting Rey Mysterio to win the WWE Championship. Now, the superficial markdom reason is Rey Andrade feud for the title at Mania, which obviously isn't going to happen because, God forbid, I'm happy. But the more substantive reason, and I had this big thing that I articulated to Ashton like a few nights ago, is just that this, to me, isn't the standard Brock Lesnar feud. The standard Brock Lesnar feud, to me, has always been Brock's killing the company, he's holding the title hostage, and it's always been on a what I would call a wrestling basis. What happens inside the ring and just the state of wrestling as it relates to WWE as held up by Brock Lesnar. That said, this feud to me is distinctly different because it's not just about the wrestling or Brock holding a title hostage. Brock went after Rey's son, Dominic. That's very personal. We go babyface heel 101. That's a very audacious, very dastardly thing for a heel to do. I don't think Rey has given Brock his comeuppance yet. He used a proxy for that at first with Cain Velasquez, but it was never Velasquez's story, even though he was introduced as kind of like, a member of the family, in that way. He got beaten 2 minutes at Crown Jewel, which was totally understandable for a litany of reasons. But again, it was never his story to begin with. It was always Rey's. And from the first time that Brock attacked Dominic, which I think he's attacked him twice now, I've been asking myself, when is Rey going to get his match? And now, it's Survivor Series. Not to mention, with it being no DQ, I could see Cain Velasquez and even Dominic, personally, having a run-in this match and trying to help Rey. And I do think their efforts are going to be successful. And there are a few other things I want to mention about this, too. Because, again, guys, this is probably the one match I've thought about the most, and I'm not even kidding. Like, Ashton can even tell you, I went through my whole thought process with him. Brock pursued Rey. Like that's another thing, too. Most people pursue Brock. Brock pursued Rey. They said they were going to Raw with the title so they can get their hands on Rey Mysterio. When has Brock ever done that with somebody? The last time you could argue that he did that was fucking Goldberg, when Goldberg beat him for the Universal Championship. Yep. So, to me, it's a big deal that Brock, when he's the champion, an even bigger deal than when he did it with Goldberg, when he's the champion, is going out and looking for a fight. And I don't think that ends well because most of the people that pick a fight with Brock, they end up losing. I think Brock picking the fight here after he's all after Rey's son. And then the last reason, which admittedly is the weakest part of the argument until you think about what company this fucking is, I find it to be almost poetic that Brock is defending the WWE title on the anniversary month of Eddie Guerrero's passing against a guy who WWE is positioned as his brother and his best friend. I can hear you, man. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just waiting for everything to get back in order to the way it should be. I'm having internet issues on my end, man.
Damn it.
I feel like this happens like once every couple weeks at this point. It's getting really fucking obnoxious and I hate it.
Yeah, especially because I just went on my whole spiel.
And I think that the people heard most of what you said. I don't know if they heard all of it, but I know that they heard at least most of it.
Well, you guys got the gist then, because I can't go through even like what I missed again. Ray's going to win the WWE title to me, just based on my own logic that I've constructed. So, yeah. Do we want to wait for everybody to say that we're good before we move on to the next matchup? How do you want to handle this, bud?
Yeah, I think we're good now because I switched my internet from, believe it or not, from the faster one to the slower one because the faster one was being very unstable and giving me problems. So hopefully we should be good now. I am going to take us to our last match, which is, I'm almost thankful that it's our last match because of the internet problem that I'm having now. The Fiend versus Daniel Bryan. I think Bryan's going to win the Universal title, John.
No, I think Fiend's going to retain.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, though, because you already went through with Brock and Ray. You think Ray's going to win, and you think that if the feud with Brock doesn't continue, at the very least, we're going to get Ray Andrade as soon as TLC, maybe?
Yeah, I could see that. I could totally see that.
Okay, but sure. Now my question for you is, assuming the Fiend retains, who's next?
Ooh. Because, see, I can buy into the reports that Roman is endgame for Mania, but you still got to fill in the gaps. Yeah. Maybe Braun at that point, dude. I want Braun to be in the Mania spot, but I think they're going to be grooming Roman for that. Yeah. I could totally buy those rumors. So I'm going to say Braun as the bridge between... Maybe
maybe we even get a... Because there are rules in this. This isn't like the Brock Ray match. This isn't just a regular singles match. So maybe Fiend... Or maybe one of them gets disqualified. I was thinking maybe the Fiend gets himself disqualified, just takes it too far and gets disqualified. And that kind of turns this into a blood feud where we get a proper TLC match at TLC. And then maybe we can even do Bray Braun at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
That's a possibility to me. You know what, now that I think about it, I do think this is actually going to be the first pay-per-view match that these two have of at least 2, if not 3.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to say the Fiend retains, but I think he's going to do it in a shitty way, whether it's because he gets himself disqualified or someone attacks Bryan or, maybe, I don't know. Isn't Rowan's on Raw, so it wouldn't be Rowan. But maybe the Miz, yeah, Miz has been fucking with Bryan for the last couple weeks now, so maybe the Miz costs Bryan. I don't know, but I do think that the Fiend is going to retain, even if he doesn't necessarily win. But I think he's going to retain in a way that continues this feud.
Yeah, I could see what you're saying, man, for sure.
All right, that was our last match. Do we have anything else we want to talk about before we close out of here, so that we don't risk another internet hiccup?
No, I think that's precisely why I've got nothing else to say before we get out of here. Guys, thank you very much for joining us.
Would you have anything else to say if there was no risk for an internet hiccup?
No, just that I'm really hyped for this show. It should be a lot of fun, and I hope to see everybody there. I really can't wait for this, and I especially can't wait to eat crow for the WWE Championship matchup. But if I'm right, holy fucking shit, you're never going to hear the end of it. So we'll see.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we do hope that you all enjoyed our preview and predictions for Survivor Series. If you did, please remember to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and click on that bell icon to join the notification squad. And also, give us a little comment down below. Let us know what you think is going to end up happening on the show. There are 8 matches, so leave your predictions down in the comments down below once this video is fully processed, and commenting is an available thing to do. That being said, we would appreciate it if you would follow us both on Twitter and on Twitch, like our Facebook page, buy our merch on Teespring, donate to our Patreon, and share this channel and this video with all of your wrestling fan friends and let them in on the best kept secret in the YouTube wrestling community. That's right, we are TwitWow, and we are the workhorses of the YWC, and we will continue to pound that moniker into the ground. with our continued coverage of NXT, AEW, New Japan, Stardom, and as you're hearing here, even occasionally WWE. So it's a lot of really interesting stuff, a lot of fun wrestling stuff, and we will be live reacting to the next two pay-per-views. You know, the NXT TakeOver War Games tomorrow night, Survivor Series Sunday night, and then also the post-Survivor Series Raw and SmackDown next Monday and Friday. And then in between there, on Tuesday, we're going to be doing a live reaction to a Stardom show. That is the Stardom, it's called the Boat Race Show. So that's going to be fun. There are only 4 matches for that, so we can technically do those whenever, but we just have everything spaced out nicely so that we'll be able to do that on Tuesday.
May I interject with something very quickly
Yeah.
that I just saw? I'm even more hyped for War Games now. I just saw they're having a kickoff matchup, Swerve versus Angel Garza.
What?
So
on the kickoff?
That's gonna.
What?
Yeah, they're doing a kickoff. Yeah, and Swerve is facing Angel Garza on it. So I guess we still got a 5-match card after all.
Oh yeah, you said War Games. Oh, I thought you were talking about Survivor Series. Oh my God, yeah, okay, that makes a lot more sense. Okay.
Yeah, so I think that might have actually, that kept my hype's at like 11 out of 10. Swerve and Garza both are fucking awesome. I'm gonna pick Garza for the win though.
I'm gonna pick Swerve for the win. But you know what though, dude? That might also tell us that Swerve is not gonna be in War Games.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So yeah, I just wanted to say that to you guys.
I
I'm sorry
wonder
for
if
interrupting
because
your
of the
outro,
whole like cruiserweight thing, I wonder if they would ask Leo Rush to join them in a match against the Undisputed Era. I don't know, but God, I feel like we just this just briefly turned into NXT Takeover War Games preview and predictions.
Part 2. Yeah, sorry for interrupting your outro there.
1.5.
Just had to, part 1.5. I just had to bring you attention to that, and if you didn't know. And just want to talk about that very quickly.
Well, I'm sure that everyone that's here that didn't know about that appreciates it. And I know I didn't know about it, and I appreciate it. So thank you, my friend.
I appreciate your face. Please resume your outro.
Jesus. Yeah, I was just going over our schedule because we've got TakeOver reactions tomorrow. Sunday, we've got Survivor Series. Monday, we've got post-Survivor Series Raw. Tuesday, we've got Stardom. Wednesday night, we've got the NXT AEW simulcast. Thursday, we've got Q&A. And then next Friday, we've got post-Survivor Series SmackDown live reactions. So the next week is just stacked with content, and we hope that you're all looking forward to that. And of course, most importantly, we hope that you all remember to stay tuned.